Hey, mighty men of God, Joe Martin here with Real Men Connect, where we help good men become great men God's way by providing them with real answers to real problems in the real world. Welcome to the Real Men Ride Along. I'm on my way back home, getting ready for a trip, a speaking trip, headed up north, praying for warm weather. I don't know when you're going to watch this video. Welcome to the Real Men Ride Along. But I don't know when you're going to watch this video, but I'm going to be speaking at a conference in a couple of weeks. I won't give the dates because this video will then be dated, but I don't know. You're probably going to watch this or see this after the conference. But I'm going to be speaking about 400 to 500 men from all over the country and challenging them to pursue God's call on our lives to become the men that He's called us to be as husbands, as fathers, as spiritual leaders in our family and also in our community. And so I asked God for a message. What do you want me to do to charge these men up? And so I have an outline of what God wants me to talk about, and I'm going to be in prayer about this as He continues to give me more details. But I wanted to at least capture this on video before the fact, so I'll at least be able to share it with you if I don't get around to doing it later on. And I'm going to challenge men by asking them, are you ready to be the man? Are you ready to be the man? Now you have to understand, these men are not just going to be typical men from all over the country. These men have already drawn a line in the sand and said they're committed to doing what God has called them to do. But in order to be that man, you have to be honest with yourself on what kind of man have you been before choosing to be that man, if that makes any sense. And I'm going to share with you 5 types of men. And I've been in each one of these roles, so it's not like one of those things that you're only defined to one role. It's a progression as you go through this, and what you hope to end up is the last man that I'm going to describe for you. So what are those 5 types of men? And again, I'm not trying to condemn anyone who's watching this video, but I just want you to be aware, because God can only heal what we reveal. So let's stop concealing the truth and let's get it in front of God and put it before the throne. Now, here's the first type of man. We have the whiner. The whiner. This is the man who's always asking why. God, why me? God, why this hand that you've dealt me? God, why does this not happen for me, but it happens for others? God, why don't I have what others have? Is when we sit back and we look back at our past. And that's what the problem is. As whiners, we focus on our past and where we began and use it as justification of why we can't move forward in the future. So God, why did I grow up in a dysfunctional home? God, why was I abused as a child? Why were my parents divorced? Why did I grow up in poverty? God, why did other kids have more opportunities than I had? God, how come I wasn't able and given an opportunity to go to college? God, how come I didn't come from rich parents? You get the point. And so I tell people all the time, especially men, that our past, yes, we can't deny it. It does explain a lot of things in our lives, in our present, but it may explain us, but it doesn't excuse us in our responsibility to make better choices. So one, we have the whiner. It's always focused on the past. And then we have what I call the worrier. Now, the worrier man, he's not focused on the past. He's worried about the future. And he won't move because he's scared of moving forward, because he's always saying, but what if? It's the what if factor for that man. He's always saying, okay, I know I should start that business, God, but what if it fails? God, I know I should step out of my job to pursue what you call me to do in ministry, but what if I can't provide for my family? God, I want to go back to school and further my education, but what if I can't afford it? God, I want to do, and you fill in the blank. But we'll always use reasons and justification of why we won't move, because we're always concerned about what's going to happen in the future. So we have the whiner, we have the worrier. Then we have what I call the waiter. The waiter. And this is something that we use as Christian men to stay stuck in the present. We stay stagnated because we're thinking that God is going to miraculously provide for us. Now, hear me out on this. God does do miracles. He does it every single day. But if you look back in the Bible at all the miracles that God provides, that the men or women still had to do something. Think about it. Joshua was promised the promised land, but they still had to go seize the land. They had to run out the Canaanites. Now, think about this. Moses led his people to the Red Sea, and they needed a miracle, and God had to part the Red Sea, but they still had to walk through it. David had the belief that God was going to allow him to defeat the giant and defeat Goliath. But guess what David still had to do? He still had to throw that sling. So you get the point. The thing is that we're going to have to, yes, wait on the Lord, but don't ever use it as an excuse for mediocrity. We still have to move. We still have to serve while we're waiting. We still have to support others while we're waiting. We still have to strengthen others while we're waiting. And then, so we have the whiner, we have the worrier, we have the waiter, and then we have what I call the wounded. The wounded. The wounded man is that man who now isolates himself from others because he's afraid. And remember what I just said, that God can only heal what we reveal. He isolates himself because he's stuck in shame. He's embarrassed. He's afraid to look for help because he's been wounded. And guys, I'm pulling into my driveway, so don't think I just started in the middle of the street. But I want to finish this out. And so that wounded man, he's stuck because he's afraid to tell you of the hurts and the wounds that's been caused by others on him. He's afraid to admit his insecurities, or why he's afraid to move forward. And because of that, he isolates himself, and he can never move into the destiny that God has for him because he's stuck in fear. And that wounded man always concerns me, because God is never going to allow you to heal unless you're willing to reveal, which is you're going to have to trust somebody. You can't trust every man, but you have to trust somebody. And God has strategically put people in your life that you should trust. But for some reason, we're so wounded, we're afraid to do it. I was that man too. Didn't want to trust any man because the men in my lives have always hurt me. But God had to move me past being wounded to what I call the fifth type of man. And this is the man that we all want to become, which is the warrior. So we had the whiner, we had the worrier, we had the waiter, we had the wounded man, and we have the warrior. Now the warrior is that man who's willing to fight. God, send me. I'll go. God, I'll step out on faith. I would trust you. God, I would do what you called me to do. Even though I can't always trace you and track you, I know I can trust you. God, I don't have to have all the answers in order to know that you are the answer. It's when we put our total trust that we're willing to lose and give our lives for the gospel, for Christ, for our families. See, real men step up and become warriors, not whiners, not worriers, not waiters, and they don't stay stuck on being wounded. They fight, knowing that they can do all things through Christ who strengthens them, that they're more than conquerors in Jesus Christ, that they have the full armor of Christ and full armor of God on, that they can defeat any enemy because he says we've already won the battle. Guys, I just wanted to give you that quick outline of having you analyze and look at yourself and ask God to reveal to you, where are you right now in your development as a man? Are you a whiner? Are you a worrier? Are you a waiter? Are you just wounded? Are you ready to fight and join this fight? Guys, I hope this bless you. Please share with any man you that may be mentoring or discipling. And guys, you know we always say that we're males by birth, but we are men by choice. So each and every day we must choose to be the warriors God called and created us to be. So until next time, be blessed, stay strong, and as always, stay in God's grip. Talk to you soon.